Okay, sorry guys. I just had to make that Naruto reference because in the past few days, especially in the past month, I've been watching some Naruto for the first time. Well, I'm pretty familiar with Naruto. I've seen clips, but I haven't really watched the actual show. But my sister has forced me to watch the first two arcs. Like I'm right now at the end of the Chunin exam, so I'm pretty like early Naruto stuff, and it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know people like Naruto a lot. People are saying like Naruto is as good as Dragon Ball, and I can see the hype, but I'm not that too invested in it. So I'm not saying this that I'm going to transition to Naruto. I'm just saying that Naruto is not a bad show. Anyways, enough about Naruto. Let's talk about Dragon Ball Super because Chapter 72 has finally dropped, and there are some pretty interesting tidbits in this chapter. It isn't flawless or perfect by any means. However, I think this is one of the solid manga chapters when it pertains to this arc specifically. So, like, so far, I think the Moro arc, especially the start of the Moro arc, had such a strong start. Like, the Moro arc and the Goku Black arc had the two strongest starts. However, arcs like Granolah in this instance hasn't been going too strong, especially in the beginning. It feels like there's a lot of build-up. And even though we're in the climax, or at least it feels like it's a climax, but at the same time, something is off-putting. Like, it feels like this is one of the, like, turning points that's going to happen. So this fight between Granolah and with Vegeta and Goku is going to have like a turning point to it. Something major is going to happen that's going to shift all the focus and everything that's going to happen from now on. Whether that's the introduction of Frieza, whether that's the heaters doing something pretty shady using the Dragon Balls, maybe stripping Granolah of his powers, or maybe doing something pretty shady. I don't know, something is going to happen. Because as we see from this chapter, and including the other chapters prior to this, Granolah is not the bad guy. In fact, from his perspective, he's the victim. He's the one who's finding retribution, and he's the one who's avenging his fallen race. So from his perspective, he has every right to be angry. He has every right to seek for revenge. Well, to an extent, even though I don't really agree with the matter that he got his powers, but it feels like, from his perspective at least, when you compare Granolah to all the previous antagonists, including Jiren as an antagonist, I feel like Granolah has his strongest case, even though some people want to say they sympathize with Jiren because he's really fighting for his universe, but still, Jiren is a piece of shit, like I said before. And speaking of pieces of shit, the heaters in this instance, the real plotters and the real antagonists of this arc, are the ones who are leading Goku and Vegeta towards Granolah's location. And you see Goku and Vegeta landing in the planet, and they're flying over, and at the way of going to the location where Granolah's supposed to be, they start to piece together that it doesn't seem like there is any sort of like signs of rampaging. All the destruction that is happening so far, Vegeta can tell that it happened a long time ago. None of this is fresh. Vegeta also notes that there is a city in the background that is untouched and unscathed for some reason. So they can feel that there is something out of the ordinary here. But on the way to the mountain, a piercing light flashes from the deep woods. Goku's the first to notice and reacts. He dodges it, but then a barrage of piercing ki blasts are shot with impeccable accuracy. The two Saiyans are struggling to dodge it in spite of the distance between them and the shooter. Vegeta instructs that they must trace their origin. No shit. He goes Super Saiyan, and I won't lie, first I thought he went blue along Goku later, but it was then confirmed that it was simply the regular Super Saiyan, which is always nice to see. The yellow hair will forever be iconic. Goku closes his eyes next to Vegeta, indicating that he is now using UI in base form, showing us the fruits of his training with Whis. While Vegeta barely struggles to dodge these attacks, Goku's doing it with ease, credit to his body reacting on its own. However, his over-reliance on Ultra Instinct almost gets him killed as he's taken out with a single shot to his vitals. Which is kind of like shitty to see. Like, I know that Granolah is like really strong right now, but just to see the main character of the show, especially that, I know like he is in his base form and we've seen Goku being like, let's say cheap shotted before and basically losing or basically falling down or almost getting killed, like the Resurrection of F. But to see him like in this manga chapter also failing and being like, it's just, I don't know, I'm not a fan of that. I just don't like it. I don't like it especially. However, I guess the thing that we got from this scene is Vegeta giving Goku a senzu bean, and then he says that there's a line of dialogue where Vegeta says that they only have 2 senzu beans. Now, to anyone who's reading this, is going to be like, oh, why only 2? Why did they only bring 2 beans? But to me, it screams that the other senzu bean is going to have a function in this manga, or in this not in this manga chapter, but in the next few chapters. And I don't know, I'm gonna make an early prediction. You can clip this or whatever. You can just remember what I said. I don't know. Something tells me that the person who's going to take the second senzu bean is going to be Granolah. I don't know why. It's just a feeling. But I don't know. Let's see if it's true. But anyways, Goku recovers and goes Super Saiyan 1 along Vegeta. And I don't understand why they don't go to Super Saiyan 2. It's not like the ki consumption is that different between 1 or 2. Maybe they retconned that. Maybe there is a difference. But I guess, hey, it doesn't matter that much because you know that they just jump from 1 to Super Saiyan God. They skip 2 and 3 anyways. Goku goes Super Saiyan and tries to locate Granolah between the woods, in which he fires a ki blast towards Granolah. But in an attempt to hit Granolah, Granolah suddenly disappears and reappears behind Goku and Vegeta. Well, some people might think that's just Granolah being faster than light, obviously, or just super, super fast. But apparently Vegeta thinks that Granolah used instant transmission. But Goku replies that no, he used a technique that is faster than instant transmission, which is super fascinating because, as you know, instant transmission is instantaneous. So what I think is, and probably a lot of people were confused at how can you be faster than instant transmission. I think he used something similar to Metal Cooler. If you watch the Metal Cooler movie, movie number 6, Metal Cooler also has a move where he surpasses instant transmission. He moves faster than instant transmission. But I think in this instance, what it works is the technique itself. In order to apply it, it doesn't take concentration, because even though instant transmission is instantaneous, it still needs some lag time. There's lag time to use it. Goku has to focus to do it. And we know when Goku does it, he has to put 2 fingers in his forehead, or onto his forehead to lock into someone's ki or energy. Or at least that's how he does it in most cases. But with Granolah's case, he doesn't need to do that, much like the Supreme Kais. The Supreme Kais don't really need to do that. So I think it is a little bit like that. So it's just a little bit more advanced version of Ultra Instinct. And this is interesting because Granolah has a lot of moves. He's shown to use a move similar to the Hakai. And basically what's confirmed that he didn't just get a lot of power. He somehow got knowledge. Like basically he has a bunch of abilities, which is, I spoke about this before. If he's the strongest and he has all these abilities, does he have healing abilities? Can he regenerate? What other abilities does he have? Just strength related abilities, just speed related abilities? Is that it? Or does he have like more magical abilities? I don't know, maybe just different abilities. So that is pretty fascinating to see how it's going to be. Anyways, Vegeta learns from his past mistakes and tells Goku that he should fight first, because Vegeta finally, after arcs and arcs, he finally understood that jumping the gun and being the first one to fight will lead you to get your ass beat. Like, you see, like, over the years, whenever Goku is the first one, or usually whenever the first one who fights is sometimes the first one who gets his ass beat, as evident with Goku fighting Android 19 and almost getting killed when Vegeta came and saved him. And also with Moro, Goku fought against Moro and almost got destroyed. Then Vegeta came and almost defeated Moro, had Moro didn't like gobble up 73. But anyways, it's just really funny that Vegeta's like, yeah, Kakarot, go kick his ass. it just makes me remember of the Team 4-Star Braid series where Vegeta tells Nappa, he was like, yeah, go kick his ass, and just Goku just destroys Nappa. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level?
It's 1006.
What, really?
Yeah, kick his ass, Nappa.
Yay!
So for some reason, Granolah just stops in attempting to assassinate Goku and Vegeta, and he stares them down. And he notes how interesting that they were able to fly in the air when he unleashed the sort of like the Hakai-esque attack that he used. Which is pretty interesting because I think this is Granolah his interests are being piqued by the strength of Goku and Vegeta, like he did not expect them to be that strong. And he also notes that isn't Goku going to use his Great Ape form to fight? But Goku says that he's not going to use any of that, but instead he's going to rely on his Super Saiyan forms. And then Granolah says he notes that Goku has the yellow hair, and he notes also that most Saiyans do have black hair. So Goku says that he can also do this, and he goes Super Saiyan God, in which surprisingly he uses Ultra Instinct with Super Saiyan God in conjunction with it in order to make it stronger. Now I can see that a lot of people were confused that Goku is now stronger than Ultra Instinct or Master Ultra Instinct, because I also made the mistake in assuming that Mastered Ultra Instinct is going to be pushed aside. But I think just using Ultra Instinct in conjunction with his God form is just going to enhance his abilities. I don't think they're going to substitute it. I think Ultra Instinct or his silver hair form is still his maximum power. So I think he's just using his Ultra Instinct just to enhance his God forms. Which, to be honest, is kind of ironic because I've kind of called the opposite. I was hoping that the God is supposed to enhance his other abilities. For example, Super Saiyan, his regular Super Saiyan form would be enhanced by God Ki. Which it does, I know it does, but it would have been more interesting if they did something like Goku doesn't go God form, but instead just goes Super Saiyan and still has the God power within him. But yeah, they don't do it that way. Instead, they do it as a stage, going 1, 2, 3, then God, then Blue, then Ultra Instinct, which I'm not a fan of that latter, to be honest. But anyways, putting aside my preferences, let's get back to what's going on. When Goku explains to Granolah that this is Super Saiyan God, Granolah responds that is a bold claim to call himself a god for such a savage species. And then Granolah charges against Goku, and he fights in a very interesting fighting style. Like, I really do like his fighting style. Like, he feels like such a dead shot kind of hitman, kind of fighter. It is like close to Hit, but I also feel like he is more of an assassin than Hit. Like, Hit's techniques, it feels like he's more of a boxer, to be honest, rather than an assassin, especially like the way he has his hands very close to his chest. When Granolah like attacks head on, and he has like the dead shot kind of thing, which really bodes well with his whole like persona. So Goku's first overwhelmed by the techniques and the abilities of like Granolah, but then he decides to close his eyes, and right now it's kind of like borderline like a little too much. Like, okay, we know he doesn't have to close his eyes every time he uses Ultra Instinct. Like, I know it helps him to focus, and maybe because it isn't complete, but it's like it's funny that that's the way to communicate to the reader that he's using Ultra Instinct, which I wish if they used like a silver aura that comes. Maybe we're gonna see that in the anime because there's color in the anime, so they can do that, where Totaro is pretty restricted within how he communicates with the reader on what form because you can see people can be confused if Goku is in blue or yellow. So I understand a little bit like that sometimes he had to resort to these things to communicate to the reader what Goku's doing. So Goku's doing pretty well using Ultra Instinct in his Super Saiyan God form. However, that's not enough, as Granolah strikes Super Saiyan God Goku right in the stomach and forces him back to his base form again, almost defeating Goku. And it's sort of like I don't know how to feel about this, because it feels like they keep addressing this on how Goku starts off the fight playing around when he can't afford that luxury. It's not like the villain is powering up with him, so him using Super Saiyan God at this point is just to stretch the fight. But I digress. Granolah explains even he can tell that Goku's moving without thinking, but even with that he isn't susceptible to get his vitals targeted, as he further explains that his eye, the Emperor Eye, is the sharpest in the universe and he can see everything. Now, Granolah says his eye can see all, but what does he mean he can see all? Like in terms of combat? Can he see the future of his opponent's movements? Like Emperor Eye? Is it the Sharingan? What is it exactly? What does he mean by seeing it all? Can he see things that are millions of miles away? like, again, it's pretty confusing. And also what I dislike, that the eye itself, like, it would have been better if they told us that his eye is so special before. I don't like the fact that we just discovered that his eye has special properties. I mean, yes, it's sort of like hinted back then, but it feels like it would have been better if these things were established. They laid the groundwork, they sort of built up, and then used his eye to do Goku with it. That would give the reader some payoff. But the fact that they didn't do it, it feels like a cheap way, and it doesn't have the same payoff that I explained just 2 seconds ago. But anyways, this is probably one of the few criticism I have of the arc, because Goku goes Super Saiyan Blue and he charges against Granolah, and he forces Granolah to actually use a lot of his powers. So Super Saiyan Blue is pretty strong and it's pretty powerful, and he can feel the power. And they engage in battle, and then Vegeta has this epiphany, or he reminds him that, hey, maybe I know who these guys are, when he sees the footprints of the Saiyans. So this is one of those things that Vegeta's still getting sort of like it's still haunting what the Saiyans did, like the sins of the father, what his father has done, what the Saiyans have done, are still being like passed to Vegeta, and Vegeta's being punished for it, including Goku. So it's pretty interesting, but it's also funny that Granolah, like the only thing that Granolah had to do is just probably talk with them for 5 minutes, but he had to be like, no, he had to be like, oh, screw you guys are liars, you guys work for Frieza, you guys are spies, there's no reason to believe you. So it's one of those things. So I think that he's gonna recognize eventually that Goku's not bad, and Vegeta's not bad, and I don't think he's the villain in this arc. I feel like the villain of this arc is going to be someone different. It's going to be the Heaters. They're going to do something. They're going to use the Dragon Balls to do something shady, and I think Granolah is going to sacrifice himself. I think Granolah is going to die, because I don't see him reversing his own wish, because that'll be just cheap. And it's just going to open this Pandora's box, being like, oh, why don't they just use the Dragon Balls and reverse the wish? It's going to have that question every single time. I know people are still questioning that. Why doesn't Tien, Yamcha do that? But anyways, so it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like Granolah is going to be killed by one of the Heaters who's going to use the Dragon Balls to do something pretty shady. I'm pretty disappointed. I thought Frieza is going to be in this arc, just to see what he's going to do, but I don't see him right now coming, so I don't know what Toyotaro is going to do. I just hope he doesn't stretch the absolute F out of this arc, so we'll see. But anyways, I want to do something that I haven't done before in my previous reviews, and this is something that's going to be new for every review going on forward. I'm going to give like a score for each review. So this review, I'm going, or for not the review, but the chapter. So this chapter, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. So I think like it's above a 6. 6 would be an average. 7 is pretty good, had some good stuff, also some bad stuff, but it's pretty interesting. It feels like it's building towards something. So what do you guys think? What would you guys score this chapter? Tell me in the comments down below, and if you have anything you want to guys add, then please let me know. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.